Hi, I'm Beth from Restyle Pieces Boutique. I am coming to you from the garage today because I am going to unbox, demonstrate, and review this Wagner Flexio 5000 that I just got. So if you want to see this video, stay tuned. So I'm unboxing this Flexio 5000 from Wagner, and I have previously had a few sprayers. The last one I had was a Flexio 3500 and I really liked it, but I wanted to try this one. My 3500 wasn't working as well. I've had it for a little while, so here we go. I'm trying to get out of the box right here. If you can see, I'm struggling just a bit. It has a nice latch that keeps the box closed that houses the motor and the sprayer. So I finally got that open. I struggled with that a little bit. I kind of didn't show all of that part. So I love this, first of all, with the hose in there, everything's all together. It did come with a nice little instruction poster that you can practice your spraying on, the side sprays, the horizontal sprays, the vertical sprays, and gives you some good information on that. The Flexio 5000 comes with two spray nozzles, a larger spray nozzle for larger projects and the detail finish nozzle, which I use for my furniture. So I'm going to set this detail nozzle aside and I'm going to attempt to get the hose out of the unit. There's a little retainer, it's a little gray, like an arm that comes down, as you can see there, that I was having trouble getting open. So I did read the directions and I'm going to use a little more muscle to get that out. And that's really all I had to do. It snaps in pretty easily. As you can see, the hose and the actual handle is housed right in the top of the unit, which I love. It has an on-off switch, the red on-off switch. It has an X-Boost turbine, which controls your air power. So I'm going to line up the arrows, and I had a little trouble with that. I wasn't looking at the arrows. And I'm going to snap this together. And then this will be your whole unit that you use when you spray. So as you can see, I'm going to show you, you can turn the nozzle different directions, side by side to go horizontal, up and down to go vertical, and then you can turn it just a little bit more to just give your spray like a round spray pattern, and it will go through little lines and crevices easier, but you have to turn your power down. The power cord goes right through the back of the unit and comes out the back so that you don't have to worry. You can just close the lid and not get any spray dust on it. It's pretty obvious how the hose fits into the unit. There's only one direction, so that's pretty easy. There's also an on-off switch for the turbine there. We're going to be looking at the detail finish nozzle now. At the very back, there's a little filter there, and normally you don't have to worry about it, just have to make sure it's kind of cleaned off. That's the flow switch the knob that I'm turning there, and the trigger. And then you'll see the air tube. You just want to make sure it's clear. Normally you don't have to take that off. I'm taking off the yellow nut now, and then I'm also taking off the next piece, which is the air cap and the nozzle. It also has a little seal in it. So if this comes off, you want to make sure you put it back on next to your needle with the ridge or the depressed area facing out. So you just push that in. Then we have the nozzle. That's where your air comes out. And then we put on our air cap when I can get the nozzle on correctly. See, you can see that seal sometimes wants to come out. So I put it back in. I put the air cap on the right way. There's some little notches there. And then the nozzle. And then I put the nut back on. So that's how it comes apart and goes back together. So now I'm unscrewing the cup where the paint goes. I like it, it's plastic, it's easy to clean. Then I'm pulling out this suction tube. That's where the air is sucked in to get your paint to flow out. If you're spraying something, most things, you want that suction tube pointing forward because you're spraying forward or spraying down. So I'm taking that off right now, and you can see you have to clean that and clean all around in there. You want to make sure that suction tube and that white part is pushed down so that there's no air flowing through where it shouldn't be. So I'm just screwing the top back on. I am using Kilz Restoration Primer with this sprayer. I water my primer and my paints down just a little bit because it goes through the sprayer easily. Now, they say about 10%, so you just have to try it for yourself and see how the paint goes through the sprayer and make sure it doesn't splatter or maybe it won't come through. So there you can see I'm putting on my protection device, my goggles, and my respirator mask because when I spray, you don't want to get any of that spray dust in your eyes or your lungs. And this is the fun part where I didn't line up my arrows well. Whoops! So I had to go get the instruction booklet again and regroup and make sure that I was putting this on correctly. You need to line up the arrows and then turn it till it clicks. So you could use the poster that came with the Wagner Flexio 5000 to practice your spray patterns. At this point, I've been spraying for a while and I just want to make sure I want to try it on this cardboard and make sure that I don't have any splattering, that it doesn't come out really dry, and that the spray is a nice wet film. That's what you want, a nice wet film with hardly any or very small dots that join together to make a nice spray. Basically, you just have to practice some and you'll get the hang of it and start understanding what you need to do. There's also a lot of videos and there are some informational videos from Wagner and of course, the instruction manual that gives you some troubleshooting in case your pattern doesn't look like you think it should or it's not working smoothly. Now this is primer. I always like to prime my pieces just to ensure that the adhesion is good. That means that the paint sticks, that it's a nice smooth surface that's ready for paint, and that it prevents bleed through when the wood tannins bleed through the wood. So I like to make sure I do that first before I paint my color on. Once that's finished, it's time to clean. So I take my piece apart, I pour whatever I have left over into my paint can, and then I get ready to clean. Once you detach this detail finish nozzle from the handle, there's no moving parts or motors or anything that you can ruin with water. So I'm spraying everything, giving it a good spray out just to rinse everything well. And then I will get my brushes and things and just clean everything out well. We'll go through each part. First, I'm cleaning the paint cup, and you can see I put a little bit of Dawn, and I just put my paint cup in the bottom of the sink with the soapy water in it, and I want to make sure to plug the bottom of my sink with a stopper, because if you don't, you know what will happen? That little red seal that you saw might go down the drain, and that wouldn't make me happy. So here I'm taking off each of those parts I showed you earlier. The nut, the spray nozzle, the air cap, and of course the little red seal got stuck in the nozzle. So I'm rinsing that out and I'm getting that little seal out with one of my cleaning tools. Once I get that rinsed off, I also put that in the soapy cup with all the other parts. I use my brushes, getting in and out of every little opening, every little piece. Sometimes I have to use the tiny brushes or the tiny metal toothpicks, I guess I kind of call them. They're cleaning supplies to go through all the little holes. I'm using warm water, not hot, just so I am careful not to damage the parts. So here's the little tiny brushes and the little tiny metal pieces. You can find this in cleaning kits for spray guns. I have linked one down below in my Amazon shop or in the materials descriptions down below. After I clean each piece, I rinse it well and set it aside to drain. The air cap has several little holes that you definitely need to use those tools to make sure those holes are clean and free of any paint. The first few times you clean out your sprayer, it takes a little bit longer amount of time, but after a while it just becomes second nature, and it probably takes as long to clean out your sprayer as it would 2 or 3 paintbrushes. You see me here taking those little cleaning brushes, those tiny cleaning brushes, and pushing them through each of the holes on that air cap to make sure it's completely clear and free of paint. Next, I'll be cleaning out the cup and then the suction nozzle. You want to make sure those are really clean and rinsed well. And here I'm going to be pointing out a little tiny hole that you'll see up near the base of the suction nozzle. That needs to make sure it's clean, it's free of paint, or otherwise your paint will not come up the tube successfully. And when I'm completely sure that that little tiny red seal is where it belongs, right next to the needle in the finish nozzle, I pull the plug, rinse everything out. Oop, there it was. I lost it down there before I got my plug out. I found it. I cleaned it, rinsed it, and put it in by the needle where it belongs. And here I'm making sure to remind you that the indented side, the side with the ridge, goes facing out. So now that I'm finished, let me show you how I put it back together. So there is that compartment for the cord, and then that big compartment down the bottom is where I put my detail nozzle. All finished and ready to start over, and wait for my detail nozzle to dry, And then it's time to paint colors. So I do that whole process over again. Now I have color in my sprayer, and you can see I'm moving that nozzle when I want to change directions. So if I go horizontally or vertically as I am here, the sprayer tip faces up and down. And if I want to go horizontal, which is side to side, I have to adjust that sprayer tip to the side by side or horizontal direction. So I'm spraying this piece, but you can see that I have taped the top of the piece. I'm not spraying the top because I had previously stained it and I didn't want paint to get on that portion. And here's the final result. Check out my full project video coming soon. So there you have it. A little final thoughts on this product. I love it. I can't tell you how much I love it. Let me go through the pros with you on the Wagner Flexio 5000. The motor is in the box, so it is way lighter, to me anyway, than my Wagner Flexio 3500. While I really loved my 3500, it had a great finish. I just didn't feel like it was as easy to handle as the spray nozzle on this 5000. I love it. That is one of my biggest pros on this model. I wrote them down because I knew I'd forget them. It's a reputable name brand. Wagner has great products. I've used a couple of their sprayers. I use their spray tin, and I love their products. It's easy to use, simple directions, not a ton of parts and pieces, so it's easy to clean and assemble. So like I said, the cleanup is great. That's another pro. There are 3 dials on it, and I love being able to control my airflow or my air pressure, and then my liquid flow, and then my spray pattern, the 3 different patterns on the detail nozzle. So really love that. Also one con that some people would probably think is a con is it has a lot of plastic parts. The needle's plastic, the nozzle and the rings and all that are plastic. That doesn't bother me. The finish is beautiful. It's easy to clean. I don't have a problem with it. It may not last 10 years maybe or 5 years. I use it a lot, but it's going to last long enough to make me feel like I got a great value. So bottom line, I love it. I highly recommend the Wagner Flexio 5000. So I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and like or comment, and I'll try to get back with you on those comments and questions if you have any. So I will see you next time. Bye-bye.